Chapter 4. The Missing Man. No man to be seen. I tripped down the stairs. I hit my head, and I felt streams of blood going down my hair. Slaycore, I yelled. Bewab is... Not the... I passed out. Are you okay? I awoke to 3 people looking at me. There's one of them you forgot about, my man, the voice from the dream said. Who? I asked, dazed. Cox, he started. Are you okay? What? I asked very weakly. Are you? Yes. I opened my eyes more. Bewap, I said. Bewap? What's wrong with him? A clear lady voice said. I said. I couldn't make it out. He's gone. Men fought in my door, I explained. They tried to fight me. Axes. Their leaders were Cavo. I do not believe it, though. Stay right here, she demanded. I heard a door close, along with silent swooshing. Anyway, the voice said firmly, I'm Coxo. How did you get in my hat? Materials, buddy. Why did you fight? You complained to Vercavo, you face consequences. Or, in other words, us. Okay, I replied. I sighed. Cox, what? I'm down to the string, bud, Coxo replied angrily. Why was B-Wack not there? Kidnapped. What? More like President napped. No. Ooh, yes, Coxo remarked very bravely. Bye, Coxo said quickly. She's coming. The door opened. She arrived. Okay, she said aimlessly. She was reading a clipboard. So, she said drowsily. Forming documents this where is it? She undertoned. No imagination, exchange, and no true spirit. Okay, sure. I had been confused. Imaginary status, or IS, is the actual logic inside your head. You have to mecha or dose or whatever it's called, other word for exercising your IS. I've mechaned way too much. I'm a little bit famous for that. A little. I'm in IS college. I have way too much IS for my age, which is 14. You'd mecha at 18 or around that age, so that's why I'm famous. So she has a very negative result. She muttered. Average. Very common indeed. I looked at her when she said common very sternly. You know, I said, it's not, she looked up at me, common for someone to be infected by a Sealizard. I tensed my stare even more. Okay, she said, just not in this category, okay? Sure, I replied. I sighed quietly. So, what, Why am I here? Did you notice what happened? Not really, I said slowly, trying to remember a bit. She took a more visible breath. You're struck and another word for healthily corrupted or unusual. And that's gonna be a yikes. Why? I asked frantically. Mind fuser's on you, she replied. I do not know where, she added. She was suspicious. A mind fuser is a machine that makes anyone, in this case me, have hallucinations when the picked person is in mind mode, or thinking or concentrating hard on it, or in REM mode. I looked over to my side to see a sign. Hospital horses plus health. Healthy for you. She said. We both were in our own world. It was kind of awkward. She moved finally. I did too. You need to she started. Someone screamed somewhere inside a room next to us. Actually, she restarted. What? I asked very curiously. You can come back, she said. I heard some panic-like breaths. Oh my gosh, it said. It's fine, another voice said, just before the other one said, just please, stop. Is Dad You okay? She asked. I was in a trance. I replied. Yes. Okay. I felt a stinging on my foot. Ah! The voice said from the other room. Ooh! I yelled. Where? My foot. She came to my foot. Did you mean tail? What? Lots of newbies get that wrong, she said. It's fine. I don't mind. When did I have a tail? Anyways, she said. She pulled out a dark gray pod. It hurts like a shot getting injected in me. Yeah! I squealed. I tensed my muscles. Ow. I said softly. Yeah, she replied. It hurts. She paused. A lot, she added guiltily. I nodded. She showed it to me. It was a dark gray pod with a needle attached under it. It was dripping with green liquid. We have to inject this blood back into you. Okay. I said back. So, just stay. She demanded once again. What's your name? I asked. Miss Watsy. Or Savy's Watsy. I nodded again. She left. No voice in my head. Yes! I could hear her in the other room speaking to somebody. Hey, it said. Watsy's voice was muffled up. Decoding, I see. It replied. I could only make out a few words from Watsy. Does, pulsinator, mind, and die. I stood up when I heard it say, oh, we'll have to explain a lot. I leaned into a corner, like to how BWAP had when I first met him. I sighed. Watsy was a very calm and quiet sort of person, to what I could tell. Slightly sly, though. Someone screamed. Watsy and the guy. Watsy and the guy spoke, and I couldn't hear neither of them, or at least make it out. I wish we had thicker walls, it said weakly, after the echo of the scream down the hall. He sighed. Okay, he said. Stories of husbands, assassin. That's very rude. So, Pulsinator, am I correct? She was in silence. Yes. So, Pulsinator used, his voice grew louder. By Vorcavo? Sort of. Minions. Watsy replied very quietly. Civis? He asked. Kapose? Watsy replied back in a proper voice. Are you sure about this? She hesitated, moved around the room. I looked towards the wall I was sure they'd be behind and waited. The room was like an extra room. Blank white with a blue bed shoved in a corner that hadn't been that stylish. Tapped my foot softly in impatience. Some people hollered in pain for a few seconds and then silence. I never was, she said before she paused. Sure. I ended in an undertone that neither of them could probably hear. Kafase was in his own world. He sighed. She sighed. I thought about what happened with Coxo and Bewap. Bewap the good guy, Vorcavo the bad guy. Shirley was correct. Oh. Coxo's the bad guy's special minion. 2 good guys versus 2 bad guys against they've got Bewap and hostage. So, no. -1, now it's unfair. Gosh. Hey ho! Kafase said quickly. Hello, replied Watsy. Welcome back to the real world. There's a hospital. Kafase snorted and chuckled really hard. Back on subject? Yes, he replied in a chuckle. Injection? Yep. Watsy said as some weird noises came on. I slept for 25 minutes, waking up to a needle straight on my arm. Squaw! I hollered very gruffly. They took it out. He's Kafase. She pointed towards Kafase, a slightly bearded man that had tiny chops. Hello, he said. Hi, I said. I sighed. You are allowed out of the hospital, they both said. I felt lightheaded, but I left. Bewap, I thought as I swam down the sidewalk. Just please be okay. I slowly fell asleep when I got home in my bed. I had a nightmare of Coxo. I hated it a lot. Even maybe too much. Maybe not. And that's where it's gonna end. It's always at good times, so bye!